Hello guys, I'm George Dean from the Auto Dealer Academy. Today I'm going to talk about several things. Number one is wholesaling, retailing, and auto brokering. I'm going to touch on each of those except the auto brokering. I'm actually going to go a little bit more in depth about it because it's a commonly misunderstood model of doing the car business. And then we're going to talk about auctions in depth, okay? Now, I'm going to give you lots of tips between here and there. And if I were you, I'd get out a pad and a pencil. And actually what I like to do is I like to start with a brand new legal pad, and I skip the first few pages just in case they rip off, and that's where I keep notes whenever I'm studying a new topic. So might be a good idea to do that. Now, so let's talk about the three different ways of doing the three different models. We've got wholesale, dealer, and auto broker. As I touched on briefly in the introduction video, the wholesaler can only sell to three people: auctions, dealers, and wholesalers. Cannot do retail. Cannot do retail, okay? Now, one of the advantages of the wholesaler thing is a little cheaper to get because you don't have to have such a location. But I think that limiting factor of the retail, I would never start as a wholesaler. Never. Unless my daddy owned a dealership or my best friend's daddy owns a dealership and he's going to introduce me around. Without that, save that as a profit model, okay? Dealer. Same thing, can sell to wholesalers, can sell to and through auctions, they can sell to other dealers. They can also sell to retail customers. They also sell to auto brokers. Okay? So definitely a wider spectrum, but the auto broker can do the exact same thing. Okay? Same exact privileges. This location costs lots of money. Auto brokering, I'm going to say, is the same as a wholesaler, but maybe add a little. Okay? So maybe add a little. And I'll talk to you about that. Actually, let me go ahead and talk about that. This location, you know as well as I do, it needs to be on the main street, lots of traffic, because part of your advertising dollars is going to your location. Okay? Very expensive to do. Very, very pricey, because you need location. Auto broker, not. You just really, here's my big tip on for auto brokers is get your license out of a warehouse. What you want to do is you want to go to your zoning board and find out what area is zoned for used car sales, ride the bumps, and look for a warehouse in an area that you can, you know, depends on your state requirements. In my state, it needs to be visible from the main street. I need to be able to have a sign on it from the main street. It needs to be big enough to have 5 parking spaces on the inside. It needs to have an office on the inside where I can have a phone line. If it meets those parameters, this is pretty darn cheap way to go. The other cool thing is when I buy a car and I park it in the warehouse, it's protected. Weather's not going to make it dirty. Vandals and thefts can't get to it. So I love the fact that it's in a warehouse. And because you have a warehouse, you have some space that if you needed to rent them out to somebody who owns a boat or whatnot, you can make some additional income by using the warehouse because it has some utility to it. So I do like that about the location for auto brokers. Dealers, what do? They got to go source the car, which means go find it. They got to advertise it, which part of that dollars is their location. Then they have to sell it to the retail customer. Okay? And auto broker is just the opposite. You get the retail customer, which is also part of the advertising. Okay? So you advertise, you get the retail customer. In fact, let me draw that a little differently now that I'm even thinking about it. You advertise, you get the retail customer, and then you source the car. Okay? And then I guess you sell it, right? The beautiful thing about this is lots, and I'm going to actually detail out why I love auto brokering. But the cool thing is I find the customer, this is retail customer, I find the customer and I buy them exactly what they want, and then I sell it. What a beautiful model. I only buy what the customer wants. Okay? Auto brokering, I can facilitate new car deals, and I can also secure used car deals. and get paid on both. I try to convince all the new car guys to go used cars. Here's the reason why. You buy a 3-year used car, it's got 45,000 miles on it, it's half of retail, and then you throw on a 100,000 mile extended service contract for like $1,500 to $2,500 depending on the car. Now for about half of retail, I've got a warranty that's just like the brand new manufacturer till 100,000 miles. Half of retail. Why would anyone buy brand new? I don't even understand it. So as soon as somebody starts talking about new, I kind of give them this, and it makes sense. Save that extra money and go buy you a boat. Take your family on an amazing vacation. Invest it. Okay? All right. Let's talk about why auto brokering is so awesome. I just want to give it to you. I mean, just auto brokering is so amazing. One of the wonderful things, we already touched on, is the location. You don't need a big fancy location on the main street in your town. A simple warehouse in an area where your average clientele is going to feel safe and comfortable making that transaction. In other words, you don't want to be in the hood selling Porsches. That's just going to be a mixed match to the client who wants to buy a Porsche. He's not going to go there and buy it. Right? So the location needs to be consistent with your average clientele, okay? So it's much cheaper. The other beautiful thing, you buy the car on a Tuesday, it's gone by Friday. So there's no advertising, no waiting for test drives. Now let me be specific about this one for a second, because I kind of called bull crap on myself there. The advertising is not for placing ads in the Auto Trader or newspaper. Okay, you're not going to be doing that. But your advertising is going to come in the form of marketing. Sometimes that's involved in networking groups. Sometimes that's involved in doing some direct mail. Working with loan officers. We're going to talk about that stuff, I promise you, here in a minute. And all that stuff's in the course, promise. No waiting for test drives. You work professional hours. You can work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, nights and weekends by appointment only at your so choosing. You can't do that with a retail car lot. You'll go bust. But here's the other thing, is you work with people with good credit. Most of them are already financed. F-I-N-A-N-C-E-D. They're already financed. That's cool. How many times have you ever tried to sell a car in the past? Guy loved it, and I said, oh, I got to go get approved. You're like, oh, come on, dude. Don't come look at this car unless you're approved. Well, the truth is I won't even work with a customer until they have been approved for their financing. Okay? They've been approved, and they've given me my $800. Until those two things are done, I'm not helping you at all, which is a great tip, guys. If anyone says, well, George, if you come across this or that, give me a call. No, I don't do that. I buy cars for people. I don't look for cars for people. Okay? Financed plus $800. That's a write downable. Till those two things are done, I'm not talking to you. The other reason I want the finance is I want to talk to the loan officer. I want to let him know what I'm doing for his client. I want him to know that there's a professional car buying service that charges a flat fee for buying cars for clients, and I promise not to steal the financing. Would it be possible if I came by and talked to you about my auto buying service, and maybe, perhaps, you could send some of your members to my business, and I'll promise that they could do their financing through you? Would something like that be possible? Okay, big marketing. I want to talk about the second marketing. I'm kind of jumping around here for a second. The second marketing is, which is one of the other great benefits, referrals are amazing. Let me talk to you about this. Guys, that's how you build a business. You build a business through repeat customers. Because think about this. Let's say we got some dude needs you to buy him a car. So we bought him a car. And he's got wife, daughter, son, neighbor, best friend, The list goes on and on and on. Mom, dad, boss, secretary. Okay? We want to work this repeat business, and I want to work the referral business. Now, how do you do that? It's actually so simple, but most businesses are too stupid, too lazy, too cheap to do it because they don't see the back end. You do it by building a relationship with your client and staying in touch with them so they don't forget your name. It's simple. So, here's what you do. You sell the car, you're going to deliver it to their office. You're going to take a picture with you and your client in front of the car, smiling, leaping, whatever you want to do. Be fun. The worst thing you can ever do in marketing is be boring, so be fun. So you want to take a picture. Then what you want to do with that picture is you want to do two things at minimum. I'd prefer you to do 6 things a year. But 2 things, you're going to send a thank you card, and I'll give you more information of this in the course, with this picture on the card. And then on the 1-year anniversary, you send another anniversary card, either commemorating one of 2 things. This is your anniversary with the client, that you've done 1 year business, that you did business for 1 year ago, or it's the 1-year anniversary between the client and their car. I would tend to go that way because it's a little quirky and cute maybe. So 1-year anniversary there. Now that's 2 contacts a year. I recommend you get that thing up to 6. You know, send out some cards on wacky holidays, or forget Christmas, do Thanksgiving, do whatever. Don't do Valentine's, but you know, do some. Stay in touch with them at least 6 times a year so they'll remember your name. And the reason why you want to take a picture with them is because now every time you send one of these cards, they see your face again. They see your face again. So this is going to build both of these. Repeats. And you know, and some of this is kind of repeats and some of those are kind of referrals, but you really got to build that. And you do that by staying in touch with them. It's really simple. You are probably the only professional car buyer there is that they've known. Probably the only one in your town. You own the market. Which brings me to the 3rd marketing thing. So we talked about loan officers. Loan officers. We talked about the cards, the thank you cards. 2 to 6 times a year. Another thing you'd like to probably do is join a networking group. This is where they have breakfast in the morning, and there's a mortgage guy, there's a real estate guy, there's a CPA lady, there's someone that does design, there's someone who does copywriting, there's someone that owns a lawn service, and you will be the only professional car buyer in the group. You're going to get every one of their deals for sure in the next 2 or 3 years. Plus who they know, okay? So I give you some really good marketing stuff there, guys. Wonderful reasons to love the auto broker business, guys. Now, let's talk about one more thing on the auto broker business before we talk about auctions, because I just want to give you this. And by the way, I'm just giving you the same information as if you're a buddy of mine and we're sitting down and you said, George, I'm really thinking about becoming an auto broker. Just give it to me straight, dude. Just give it to me straight. What do I need to know? Well, that's what I'm telling you, guys. I'm giving you everything I would tell my best friend. I certainly can't tell you everything in this, but you're getting a lot. Profitable orders. I forgot what I was going to talk about. Profitable orders. I only want to take orders that are easy to get. I don't want needles in the haystack. That's my goal here. I want easy deals. Avoid needles in the haystack. Easy deals are cars that are 1 to 5 years old. Okay, getting a little bit older than that, I'm going to be questionable. I'm going to make sure there's a supply of them in the market, and I'm going to show you how to know that if you're taking an order that you can readily go get. Okay, I'm going to show you that right now, here in a second. But I want it 1 to 5 years old. I want it under 100,000 miles because I don't want it to be red light. If it's over 100, it's red light. Red light means you're buying the car as is in mechanical condition. You're only guaranteed clear title and no frame damage. We're going to talk more about that when we get into the auction stuff. But I want it under 100,000 miles so I can buy it green light. That's what I want. I want green light, okay? I want multiple colors, I want multiple options. I don't want to go look for the one particular shade of green. Is it okay if I got green, pearl, and a navy blue? Now I've increased my number of options, so I've increased the likelihood that I can source the vehicle easy. Multiple options. Can I get it with a sunroof and without a sunroof? Well, George, I really don't want a sunroof. What if it came with a sunroof and it was the same price? Oh, well then I'll take the sunroof. Great. I've expanded my options, so I've expanded my ability to source the vehicle easily. Now, and once again, I'm all about easy deals. And remember, they're already financed too. So all I got to do is find it, okay? How do I make sure that there is enough inventory in the market for me to source that vehicle easily? It's easy. Once you get your license, and as soon as you get your license, I'm going to do a little chart over here. As soon as you get your license, I want you to run to Manheim and sign up for their auctions, okay? Manheim's the largest auction house in the country. Even if they do not have a location near you, sign up, because you want to get access to their online resources. Because I can go into their online resources, okay, and I can look up what's on what's called the MMR, the Manheim Market Report. This actually used to be a book they used to print with all the auction sales in it. They no longer print those because obviously we're now digitized and everything's online. So I want to go to the MMR. I want to punch in that they want a 2-year-old Acura TL in my region. How many of those have been selling? And normally there's data for about 60 days in there. I want to know how many of them sold. If 0 of them sold the last 60 days, I might be taking an order that's not very easy to get. Because I promise that your auto broker fee is refundable if I don't find the car. Because that's the only fair thing. Okay? But if 20 of them were sold, now we're talking. Now I'm getting probably where I can easily source that vehicle. But once again, if they've only asked for pearl white, there wasn't one pearl white out of the 50 that were sold, I might be looking for a needle in the haystack again, and I want to open the options of the colors, my friend. Okay? If they aren't willing to go for the expanded options of the color, I'm going to let them know that this is an extended search that might require me to travel. Are you willing to pay for that travel? Because it is possible that they want the pearl. I pull it up. I live in Dallas, but in Miami there have been 20 of them. I pull up the auction list for the next Wednesday auction, and there's 10 of them there, and 3 of them are pearl. Well, I might talk to him about, hey, do you want to fly me down there and get that car? I have no clue the condition of those, so it could be a waste of money, but he's the one wanting the color, not you. So, this is how you determine availability in the marketplace. You could also go a little old school and go look in the Auto Trader. Are there any in the area that might fit that description? Are there any within a few hour drive that might fit that description? So taking a profitable order is very, very key to being able to source these vehicles easily. Because the last thing you want to do is have 10 orders on the books and you can't find the cars. Ah, forgot one of them. The car has to be over $10,000. And actually probably $15,000. Because I don't want to be looking for a needle in the haystack. And cars that are under these price ranges generally do not pass my stringent inspection. And trust me, I am picky. Which is another thing that customers have to realize. They will not be test driving the car before you purchase it. You're hiring a professional car buyer to buy the car for you. 99.9% of the time, my clients have never driven the car, and 99.9% have been thrilled because I'm going to buy the nicest one. I am going to buy the nicest one. And I let them know that too. Let's talk about pricing real quick. Once again, I'm getting into a topic I wasn't planning on it, but heck, I feel like I should talk about it. Let's say the car, let's just use number 15,000, but they are ranging from 15 to 16,000. Maybe one or two is 16 too. Okay? And I show him this data because remember, I'm a fee-based auto broker. So I'm charging him $800 no matter what. So I'm just upfront about all this pricing, which is great. When you say you're an auto broker, that you're a flat fee auto broker with upfront pricing, man, I just love it. It's transparency. It works really good. Clients appreciate it. I might tell him, guy, Doug, use Doug as a name. I'm going to buy the nicest one there is. We might have to pay $16,000 to $16,200 for this thing, maybe up to $16,500 because you're so picky on that pearl. Okay? So we might have to pay $16,500, and it may not be surprising me. It's the number one color combination you want. We got to pay 17 grand for that nicest one in the right colors. Are you willing to pay up to $17,000? Now, if I get it for $15,000, it's okay. Remember, I make my auto broker fee. I don't make any more money if he's willing to spend more. But by getting him to spend more, it opens my options to make it easier to purchase. And I am picky, and typically I am not in this cheap range. I do not want to, guys, trust me on this. I am not the cheapest way to buy a car. But I guarantee you this $15,000 Pearl White is not in the same condition as this $17,000 Pearl White. Guaranteed. You hire me when you want the highest quality vehicle and you're willing to pay up for it a little bit. But at the end of the day, if a dealer bought that $17,000 car, he's going to probably put it on his car lot for $21,995. You're going to think if you got it for $19,500, you got a heck of a deal. Well, you would only paid $17 plus my $800 auto broker fee. You're in it under $18. It's still the cheapest way to honestly buy the car and get the highest quality. And yes, I show clients this. Not afraid. There's nothing to hide. I want to be truthful and honest and straightforward just like I am with you. Okay? I gave you a lot of good stuff there, guys. All that's in the study course. You don't have to worry about it. If you have any questions about it, you can also let me know and I can help you. All right. This dry erase board's almost had it. Let's talk about auctions now. And auctions are really key. And let me tell you something about auctions. They are not the sea of high quality cheap cars that the average consumer thinks it is. I don't care whether it's wholesale or retail. High quality equals high price. Okay? All what the auction does is it gives me lots of numbers of cars in one place. Okay? Let me tell you some truthful things about auctions. Big auctions are more expensive than small auctions. And the reason why is because the big boy dealers don't have a lot of time to go to little auctions, so they go to the big auctions. So there's bigger money guys there, there's bigger sharks, there's bigger fish. They can pay up for cars. Okay? There's wholesalers who all they do is specialize. They go in the small auctions, they cherry pick the nicest of the nicest and take it to the big boy auction so the guys with all the big money can buy them. They don't have time to go to the little auctions. Nice little business there, model by the way. Next thing is big towns are more expensive than little towns. Once again, I think the big determinant here, you got time and you got money, guys. That's all you got. Okay? You go to the big town, big auctions because you need to save time, but you're willing to pay up for the money to capture additional time. It's just true. Even in the auctions, there's lanes that bring more money than other lanes. I'm going to talk to you about that when we talk about the auction thing here in a minute. So these are truths that can't be violated. The highest quality cars, in my opinion, I've got them from the Auto Trader, and I've got them from parked in front of Walmart. And from time to time, you get them at the auction. But you still got to go to all the auctions because where else are you going to get that kind of numbers in one place? You have to go. Because you have to go, I'm going to tell you all about auctions now. Okay, so you get your wholesale license. I mean, not your wholesale license, no, your retail license. When you get your license, as I said, don't pass go, don't collect $200, go right to Manheim and get access to their online resources because you immediately want to become intimately familiar with the MMR and run list. That is, if your auction's on Tuesday in your town, on Monday night, on Monday about noon before you go to the auction to pre-inspect cars. We're going to talk about that day 1, day 2. Let me remember that. And then that night about 8 p.m. you want to pull it up again. And then maybe that morning at 5 a.m. pull it up again. because they're going to keep adding cars as they come in. In fact, the auction starts at 9 o'clock. There's cars coming in at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock to get into their lanes. They're late people. Not a good way to sell cars. Your car needs to be there early so people can look at them. Okay, here's day one, day two. You guys are newbies. You're new in the car business, most likely. Day one is the day before the auction. Go the day before the auction and inspect cars. And then on the day two, that's where you can go buy them and you want to inspect them again. Now here's the logic of that. Okay? So Monday, I want you to go out, you're going to inspect the cars and drive them. In most cases you can do that, especially the day before the auction. I want you to inspect it, drive it, and then I want you to go back to the office to do market research. I want you to pull up the eBay completed listings. See what the heck cars have been selling for on eBay. What are they advertised on the Trader? What are they advertised in your local newspaper? What is the MMR saying the thing is worth? And there's a whole section about learning how to use the MMR. I'm not going to cover it on this video. But you want to do all your market research so that when you come back on Tuesday, you can inspect it again. I suggest driving it again and then buy it with solid numbers from your research. That way you're confident in your number. The last thing I want you to do as a newbie is arrive on Tuesday, go inspect it, go drive it, and then place a value on it and try to buy it all in the same day. It's too much, it's too overwhelming. Take my advice, guys, on this 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. Go the day before, go the day of. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And there's weeks where I had a lot of orders. Let's say the auction was on Tuesday, Monday, I would even go out on Sunday and look. You're a professional car buyer. Your clients deserve for you to be there and make sure you're inspecting the cars and buying the highest quality of merchandise possible. That's an investment that pays off, in my opinion. Okay, so you got registered for the auction. Let's talk about the actual auction. When you sign up, well, first of all, there's going to be an administrative building, right? You're going to come in, you're going to have like a desk, something like this, big long desk, okay? Where there's going to be ladies that work back here, and there's computers and fax machines and copiers, okay? This is a place where you can drop off and pick up titles. There's going to be a place that you can pay with checks. There's going to be a place that you can pay with cash. You can also do it with your floor plan, okay? That's all happens on the inside. Now what you want to do is you want to tell them, hey, you're a new dealer and you'd love a little tour. Here's a golf cart somehow. I don't know what I'm doing, but you get the idea. Okay? And you're going to drive, and they're going to drive you around. Now there's going to be another huge long building with lots of lanes. Depending on your city, more lanes, less lanes. Okay? There's going to be, these are going to be the drives for those lanes. Okay? And then there can be acres and acres of parking lots out here and out here. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to become intimately familiar that maybe these are lane 1 cars, these are lane 2 cars. Yes, they do weird stuff like this. That's lane 4, 5, 6, 7, lane 8. And the reason why you want to know that is because when you do your run list, you might be interested in car lane 2, car 227, lane 8, 79, and lane 3, 121. Okay? You might be interested in all those. So you got to know, well, lane 2 is going to be over here, lane 8 is going to be way over here, and lane 3 is right there. So I want to hit lane 2, lane 3, lane 8. You kind of have a workflow for the day of how you're going to inspect cars, okay? You also want to find out where arbitration is. Let's talk about arbitration. Well, before I talk about arbitration, let's talk about auction lights. There's some good things about buying cars at the auction, and that is there are certain guarantees that come to you as buying through the auction, which is part of your auction fee that you pay these cash generating monster machines known as auctions. Okay? There's green light. Okay? Which means they're saying the thing is in good mechanical condition. There's no single repair over $500. That varies per auction, but you get the idea. There's no single repair over $500. You're going to get a good title. Different auctions have different rules, whether you're going to get that title in 60 days or less, which is another interesting thing I could talk about. Getting titles. Good title, 60 days or less, okay? Yellow light means they've done some sort of announcement. You need to know what that announcement is. If you see that yellow light on and you miss the announcement, you need to go to the auctioneer. Hey, what was the announcement? What was the announcement? You want to know what it was, okay? Because it could be anything. And sometimes they're stupid things, but sometimes they're very valuable things. Red light means it's as is. You're an owner. There's no mechanical guarantee at all. The only thing you're guaranteed is good title, no frame. Same thing here on the frame. No frame. No frame damage. Okay? So let's say you bought a green light car and you do what's called a post-sale inspection, which everyone should be doing. Post-sale inspections. They range from $100 and up. But what it does is Mannheim has a team of mechanics who, for your $100 or $110, $120, whatever it is now, they will inspect your green light car to make sure it falls over $500 so they can meet this parameter, and they're going to do a frame check so they can meet that parameter. And I have discovered they do a really, really good job doing the post-sale inspection. And most times it convinced my auto broker buyer that post-sale inspection is all the inspection you need. Now here's the cool benefit of doing the post-sale inspection. This green light is good till 5 p.m. the day of the auction. This green light extends the green light till 7 days. To me, I would pay the $100 just to get the 7-day extension. That way, if I wanted to take the car to the dealer and have them inspect it, which I did on a Dodge diesel truck once. I took it to the dealership because I always did it on the diesel trucks. I paid the dealer to actually do the inspection. And they found an issue, and I got to return it through the arbitration department. Remember arbitration earlier when I was telling you you need to make sure you know where the arbitration department is? Because if there's something wrong, you just take the car to the arbitration department, you submit it, they do the little research or whatever, and then you're out of the deal and you get your money back. So I like the 7-day extension when you do the post-sale inspection. You definitely should do that. One of my stories. I am not immune to my own rules. I bought a Jeep, that little stick shift Jeep with cold air. I broke 2 rules. Always going to come to bite you in the butt. I broke 2 rules. Number 1 is I did not do the post-sale inspection. And number 2, I bought something with paintwork. I laxed my standards a little bit because it was a little cheaper kind of Jeep. It's just a little 4-wheel drive thingy, you know? Well, I get it, and I can't sell the dang thing at all. I wasn't auto brokering, it's just I loved it, and I became emotional about the purchase. Dumb. I wanted to own a Jeep. I almost owned it forever. I couldn't sell the darn thing, so I took it back to the auction and sold it green light. The guy did do a post-sale inspection. It came back with freaking frame damage. If I'd have just paid this original $100 fee for this post-sale inspection, I wouldn't have had to back out of the deal. I had to announce it as red light because now it has frame damage. It has frame damage. It's red light. And I think I took a $2,500 bath on the car. Breaking my own rules. I've made several $2,500 mistakes, which is one of the big things you get from buying this course from me, is my rules are for a reason. They're to save me money and for making stupid mistakes. Do the post-sale inspection, and I like to stay away from paintwork. This car, I didn't listen to my own advice. So, so that is a lot about how auctions work, guys. It's a great place to buy cars. It is not the only place you want to be sourcing your vehicles. You want to be using the Auto Trader. You want to be working your dealer network. You want to be working with wholesalers, letting them know what you're looking for, especially the wholesalers, because as they're out there, they might see an awesome trade-in at a Lexus dealership for that Acura you want. And they might be able to pick that thing up for you and bring it right on over to you and make a few $100 on the deal, and he's happy as a lark. And if he brings you the car and the car's not exactly as he described, he'll take it back from you. So when you're at the auction, guys, don't be afraid to mingle and meet people. And, you know, as an example, remember how I told you earlier that some lanes bring more money than other lanes? Because here's the reason why. At one of my local auctions, lanes 1 and lanes 2 are for small dealers that bring onesie and twosie cars to the auction. These lanes down here are for guys who bring lots of cars every week. And they have established run numbers. Every week, the auction is going to give them run number 001 to 150, because he's bringing 150 cars every week. That car in lane 8 is going to bring more money than it does in lane 1 or 2. Think about it. Because the wholesaler that's bringing 150 or so cars here, what's the odds and what's the risk of the quality of the car being bad versus in lanes 1 or 2, a dealer that's just bringing onesie or twosies? What's the likelihood that there's something wrong with that car? A guy who owns 10 new car dealerships is bringing his trade-ins that week, or this guy? More than likely there's a problem with this guy. I don't even buy cars in those lanes. Guess where I had to sell my Jeep? Those lanes. I'm much more down here in the more established dealers, because more than likely if you have an issue, you can go talk to the guy who knows he might help you out. Plus, when you're at the auction, you want to talk to this guy that's running those cars through there, because one day, and I should have listened to my own advice on this, I should have called this guy and said, hey, can I, and I actually did, but I didn't. He said I could, but I actually never followed up on it. And because he'll charge you a couple $100 to run your car through his lane. It's going to bring more money. It's just the way it works. Nothing you can do about it. Actually, there is something you can do about it, and that is being a very disciplined buyer. Because guys, the money's in the buy. It's not in the sell, it's in the buy. It's buying it right and doing the right procedures, such as the no paint work. It's a rule I live by. And except for that one case. And the post-sale inspection. Just do it. Just do it. Put it in the numbers. You have to do it. Another piece of advice is once you buy the car, you got to go back to the office, write a check or pay cash or have a cashier's check, and you buy the car, and you get two slips. One's yours to keep and one's a gate pass. You go back out to the car, you find it, you crank it up, and you drive it to the gate. You give the guy the gate pass. He's going to look through it, make sure you aren't stealing anything. Off you go and take it home. Now, I will recommend that if you have a local auction, I would find out how much it costs to have the auction typically has a driving service. If not, someone else has a driving service that services that auction, that'll bring it to you. And trust me, mine's $50. It is worth $50 all day long to have them drive that car all the way back across. Because they're going to bring another car with him. He's going to drop it off. He's going to hop in this car. They drive back. It's beautiful. Pay the money to do that. Don't worry about trying to drive cars back and forth. It's a waste of your time. It's a pain in the butt. Just pay someone to do that for you. Okay? Let's talk about two little things about the auction process. Let's say here's the lane. Here's the auction block. Okay, there's going to be an auctioneer, there's going to be a secretary lady, and there's going to be the seller. There's going to be a ring man. Okay? This auctioneer and this ring man work together for this guy to get him the most money possible. So this guy's out here working the crowd because auction guys are standing all over the place. I mean, they're just all over. And he's trying to get you to